Testing. 1, 2, 3. Hope I'm coming through clear. Happy Friday evening, Black Friday. We'll give the stream a couple of minutes to let people know that I am streaming and therefore file in. Hey, Spooky, how are you? Happy Friday. Awesome, you can hear me? Thank you. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Appreciate that, Wrath. I just hope the quality sticks out. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Hope you are doing well this Friday evening. Oh, not much. Today was a pretty busy day. I woke up, did a little bit of Christmas shopping online, went out, grabbed a couple extra heaters for the house, keep it nice and toasty in here. Did a little writing, some editing, some narrating, some more editing. Been a busy day. How about you? I know you are pretty busy as well. Hello, MNT. How are you? Happy Friday. Good evening to you. I'm just going to let the stream just kind of tick by for another 9 minutes, right up until 9:30. Hello. If I butcher this, please excuse me. Aaliyah Bennett. Hello, how are you? Happy belated Thanksgiving to you as well. Hope you are doing good this evening. Hope everybody's having a really good week. Had a good week. Again, I do apologize if I butchered that. Did get some news recently as well. My son has turned around for the better, much better. I guess the medication and stuff has really taken hold, and he's going to be going home in a couple of days. So I figured I would go ahead and relay that information here. Kind of let the good news out so we can all be happy. And then when the time comes, let the spookiness begin. Hello, Furberries. How are you? Happy Friday. And I want to thank you all as well for all the positive thoughts and prayers and stuff like that. It very, very, very much appreciated. That's awesome. I'm glad you had an amazing day. We had a pretty good day too. It was nice and quiet here yesterday for Thanksgiving mostly. We all three of us actually kind of chipped in and helped out and did some cooking and stuff. It was good. It was a good time, good family day. Still got about 7 minutes, so if I babble on about nothing, do apologize. Do want to say that tonight's story is a pretty long one. I did kind of kick myself for choosing this one because it is, longer than some of the other live readings. But it is a really good story. It's one of those stories that I really enjoy. But again, we'll get into that in about 6 minutes. Hey, ISB, how are you? Happy Friday. Happy belated Turkey Day. Very nice to see you here. Hope you're having a good evening. I know Fridays are hard for a lot of people. People are really busy on Fridays. So I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys stopping in. And I will try to repay you with an awesome story. Yes, indeed. Happy Friday. Hello, Tom Douglas. How are you? Happy Friday evening to you, sir. I do not have my backdrop or my mask and stuff with me, so I will not be turning the camera on for this one. I just wanted to go ahead and let you all know. You'll be staring at this black screen. I do apologize. Probably should set up the streams a little bit differently. And I could do that. It's definitely a thought for later. I don't know. It's pretty broad. What did you try to do, ISB? Yeah, we're doing pretty good over on this end. We braved Walmart today to go get those couple of heaters, but it was fine. It was like no different than any other Saturday. We were actually kind of in and out of there. I was very surprised. But apparently, according to one of the people that worked there wasn't a whole lot of Black Friday deals. So maybe that was why. I don't know. Either way, I was in and out of the store, and I was happy about it. Oh, damn it, dude. I'm sorry that it didn't work. Much props to you, though, for trying to camp out for one. That's awesome. That's dedication. Yeah, it's dedication, man. So definitely get an A+ for effort for that one. Especially it's been cold. So it's awesome. Yeah, I kind of broke a rule myself. Uh, I don't typically go out on Black Friday. It's like a rule of mine to never leave my house on Black Friday. So I broke a rule, went out today. It was worth it. It's warm in here. It's nice. Oh man, that sucks. That really sucks. You missed it by one person. It's terrible. Still get an A for effort, and you definitely deserve one. Keep an eye. There's trackers. That's it. Get a tracker for your phone. It'll alert you when everyone comes available somewhere on a website. I did that for the Oculus. It worked. I had to get it from a scalper, but it was worth it because I've definitely gotten my money's worth out of my headset. So as long as you're getting your money's worth out of it, don't pay an arm and a leg either off from a scalper. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of crowds, period, but especially Black Friday. Like Black Friday is like the worst. Like, do not leave my house on Black Friday, typically. So this year was a bit different. Hello, Jose. How are you? Happy Friday. It is the live edition. Absolutely, it is. Next month, I'm actually planning on live reading Krampus Claus, A Return to Tradition, the second one, because the third one is going to be coming out. So I'm rethinking also maybe doing the first one as a remaster, putting it up as a Thursday tidbit, so I can live read the second one on Friday and then premiere the third one on that Saturday. And I'm liking this idea. I might go this route. So we'll see. We'll see. Usually I kind of go with these ideas and kind of fits. We'll see how many stories I have to read too. Co-authors have been sending them in. Got 1 minute. 1 minute and we'll kick this thing off officially. And we'll get into the story. I really do think you're going to like this one tonight. I will do my best to do it justice live. So it's not intended to be read live. Oh, me? Yes. I was very full yesterday. My wife is a fantastic cook, and she makes a perfect turkey every year. Juicy like chicken. Like, cut into it, and it's just leaking clear juice all over the place. It's amazing. So yeah, it was awesome. Went through like a half a can of cranberry sauce on my own. So yeah, it was really good. Hello, Sean. How are you? Happy Friday. Welcome to the live stream. I'm about to officially kick it off here with the story. It is now 9:30. So there you go. Officially, I would like to welcome you all to Designed by the Thankless, the live reading tonight. Tonight's monthly live reading. Thank you all very much for stopping in. Hope you're all doing very well. If I missed anybody in the chat when they've entered, I do apologize and welcome. I do hope you're having a great Happy Friday evening. The story I chose for tonight is a little bit longer than most that I choose to read live. This one's 3,000 words long, a little bit longer than that, but about 3,000 words. So it should be about a half an hour read. I will do my very best to get through this one without stumbling or something like that, though I might have to clear my throat or take a drink at some point because it is a pretty long story. So just please bear with me. Live readings always do make me a little bit nervous, and this one, like I said, was kind of kicking myself for picking such a long story. But that being said, this story is one that I actually really like. I know I say I like all my stories, but as far as ones that I've written, I feel this is one of the better stories that I've written. I really do enjoy this story. So I really, really hope you guys enjoy this one when we do get it started. Yeah, I can't wait to hear the new Fleshy as well. It is done. I have listened to it. It is very, very good. So I do hope that you guys enjoy the Legend of Fleshy the Snowman that's coming out in about a week. That is a Fleshy the Snowman origin story. No worries, Sean. Totally understand going to listen to Spooky Boo. Spooky is an amazing person, and yeah, can't fault you there. So, but yeah, lots of good Christmas stuff on the way. Fleshy the Snowman origin stories is coming. We got a Locust Lake Christmas story on the way. There's a, for lack of a better word, it's a Christmas Monster Squad story coming out. That's co-written between me and Doughboy 420. And then Krampus Claus 3, the finale to the Krampus Claus trilogy, comes out this coming month as well. So good stuff coming. We could talk about that later. Confronting Evil also coming out tomorrow. We'll talk about that later. But right now, I'm sure you guys all would like to hear this story, as it is what you came here to listen to. So just give me 1 second here. Let me clear my throat. Somber, hello, how are you? You are just in time. Happy Friday. All right. And like I said, please bear with me. I will do my very best to kind of get through this as best as I can. It is a pretty long story, so just keep that in mind. I call this one Designed by the Thankless. I am an author, a horror author, more specifically. Who am I? What stories have I written? Well, I'll get to that. But first, it's certainly important to note that you've likely never heard of me or my work. For a long time, my creative projects have gone largely unnoticed. And I don't mean a short story here and there. I'm talking hundreds of stories, a few books, and even a few sparse publications. Still, no matter how much I liked the pieces I created, no matter how well I found each work to be written, none seemed to garner too much attention. That is, until the day that he paid me a visit. I hadn't been expecting any visitors that late autumn day, and the chance of a passerby, even being out this far in the desolate country, seemed minuscule, never mind coming upon my door and knocking on it for whatever reason. As I insinuated, I have no reason for peepholes or security cameras where I live, as this is part of the countryside that sees very few individuals, aside from residents of the widely spread apart houses that dapple this remote wilderness. So, although I could not see who was on the other side of my door, due to complacency and false sensations of security, I also found the instance peculiar and out of the expected norm, causing me to ask who it was that had knocked. I heard nothing. No knocking, no response, nothing. It was as if there was never anyone there. that I had imagined the sound, conjured it out of a playful imagination fueled by isolation. Still, I called out again. Nothing. I was relatively certain of myself and soundness of my mind, so I needed to investigate closer anyway. I slowly opened my door to the sight of an empty yard, a single car in the driveway, and no lingering individuals present, underscoring the sensation of the ominous and queer. I rescanned the area again with a slightly greater intensity for detail, just to be sure. Once satisfied, I closed the door, making sure to lock it, and turned to face the foyer behind me. I was greeted by the green eyes and somewhat apathetic grin of a man that I had never seen before, standing in my house, discovered to be just behind me. I shouted out in instinctive reaction to the sudden fear that jolted through my body like an electrical charge, jumping backwards into the door that propped my form upright that would have otherwise toppled backwards to the hardwood floor. "What the fuck? Who the hell are you, and what the fuck are you doing in my house?" I shouted at the man, temporarily giving up my lingual eloquence for something a little more straightforward. Sorry to, excuse me. Sorry to have given you such a startle, but I can assure you, I'm here on business, and I mean you no harm. The man sort of hissed at me, both gentlemanly-like and somewhat sinister, not too dissimilar from an educated used car salesman. Excuse me. Not too dissimilar from an educated used car salesman. "Listen, buddy, I don't know who you are and what the hell you're doing in my house, but you need to get out of here before I call the police," I demanded, as I stood to my own 2 feet once more without the door's help. I had noted that he had not moved, not taken a step towards me, and looked much more frail than I. He was tall, but gaunt, dressed in a long black business coat and a bowler hat. His right hand was casually resting within his coat front pocket, but his left hand held a black and gold trimmed briefcase. "I will leave once you hear what I have to say. No sooner, and trust me, you want to hear what I have to say," the man responded, confidently and matter of fact. "How in God's name did you get in here?" I asked, wanting to know more and a little more than furious. How I got in isn't as important as why, and I can assure you, God had nothing to do with it. He stopped and smirked at his own answer, patiently awaiting something I realized to be my response. This guy just broke into my house, and now he wanted to have a pleasant conversation. He needed to leave, but he spoke up before I could say anything else. I'll save you the breath. I've heard this tune time and time before. I'd like to start with why I'm here. But I know you and your kind. You'll hear nothing I have to say until you know the how. Inquisitive little monkeys you are." He chuckled, which left me confused until I realized that he had just chuckled at his own words, as if he delivered a joke. By the time my mind had caught back up, he had continued on. "Well, sir, the how is simple enough. I wanted to be here, so I was. Doors, locks, your little salt circles. You humans will try anything to keep what you feel is evil at bay, but I can assure you, my intentions here today are benign. Now, sir, let's move on to the question of who. Well, I have many names, most of which have been so graciously given by you humans, and most of them are truly despicable. Big surprise. You can call me Satan, Devil, Old Nick, whatever suits your needs. But remember, these are names given to me by a creation that fears all it does not understand, and I can assure you, none of your little preconceptions truly encapsulate who or what I am." The man paused, almost as if waiting for me to speak, to which I thought about, but I knew he had much more to say, and would be saying it no matter if I wanted to listen or not. So I remained quiet and allowed him to finish. So let's get to the why, shall we? The real reason I'm here. The thing you actually want to know and just don't know it yet. Well, sir, let's just say I have a keen interest in your work. He paused, and I took the opportunity to finally say something, though it was something of little significance. Okay, so you're the devil, huh? Well, thank you, Mr. Satan, for stopping in, but I really feel you need to leave now, I said, opening the door for him, completely unbelieving in his absurd story. And that's when I felt someone tap me on the shoulder from behind, from beyond the front doorway. I spun in a startle to see who had snuck up behind me, and I was shocked to see him. What the? I muttered out loud as I looked back into my home once more to find the man gone. Excuse me, sir. I really haven't the time for these parlor tricks. Can we dispense with the whole you're really the devil thing? In fact, can we skip the whole please don't kill me, please don't eat my soul thing as well? I mean, that's what always comes next, he questioned with a glare. But, I stammered, unable to move my lips in such a way as to formulate words, my mind still wrestling with how he managed to teleport himself outside of my house to stand behind me once I opened the door. Was I going insane? No, I can assure you you're not going insane, he said, seemingly answering my thoughts. What? What do you want? I asked, now trembling with an intense fear and unsurety. Well, to be honest, at first, I wanted to kill you. You seem to write so very well about things, particularly me. And I'm not too fond of those who write about me, not without my permission anyway. The devil began. But to be even more honest, I actually love your work. So rather than killing you and dragging your soul to hell, blah, 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 I've got a proposition for you instead. Write for me. He grinned as he said this last part, plainly and matter-of-factly. Right? What do you want me to write about? I said, now utterly confused. Well, first things first. Maybe this time you could invite me in. Standing out here in the elements is less than optimal for polite conversation, wouldn't you agree? He asked, and I thought that maybe the best course of action here wouldn't be to be rude to a timelessly ancient being that could possibly end me with a snap of a finger. I stood aside, allowing the devil entry to my home, and closed the door behind me. So, what do you want me to write? I asked, still perplexed at the sequence of unfolding events. Nothing in particular. Just write. Just realize it will be specifically for me, and make sure it's good, or you can guess what will happen. He finished, his expression plain and cold. What will... I began, but as I spoke, his face turned to that of a beast, the likes I had never seen, and retained elements that defy description. His eyes turned yellow, his skin blinked to the shade of a necrotic blue and black, his jaw yawned open, beyond the capacity of a human jaw, and his teeth grew in lengths that nearly closed the gap of the orifice entirely. I screamed out loud from the terror that had welled up within me in an instant, and in that same moment, his face reverted back to its previous shape and form. Good. I think we understand each other. He grinned, knowing that I understood all his threat implied, an eternity of endless torment. And if it's good, I had to ask. Well, then your work will be experienced by many and leave a lasting impact on their lives, he claimed. Of course, I believed this to be a terrible idea, but what choice did I have? I couldn't reason him away. I had nothing to bargain with that I could not live without losing. And whatever this thing was, was obviously much more powerful and capable than I was. So I agreed. I brewed a strong pot of black coffee for the morning and retired to my study in preparation to write a story for the devil. For the most part, he left me alone. I think he stopped in once during the first writing session, only popping his head in to ask me where the bathroom was. Funny how this all-powerful deity that could cross between realms and knew nearly as much about me as I did couldn't find the bathroom. Did he even need a bathroom? Shaking my head at the absurdity of this situation, I toiled away at my keyboard until the story was finished. This was one of the best works if I... excuse me. This is one of my best works, if I do say so myself. The character development was true and structured, the plot cohesive, and the setups nearly undetectable. Of course, my favorite part of the story is the payoff. The gore, the visceral violence, the depravity, and this one had it in spades. By the time I was done, my main character was mincemeat, nothing more than a bloody heap on the floor. The point was impactful and poignant, and the mark on the reader was sure to be lasting. Once finished, I exited my study and walked down the short hall to the living room to find the devil on my couch, enjoying a cup of coffee and watching Jerry Springer. I don't know what's funnier, the fact that all these people are going to hell or the fact that the rest of your kind finds it funny, he said, without looking at me, half talking to himself, I was sure. I promptly handed him the pages that I had brought with me, half hoping for a quick judgment and half hoping one would never come at all. To my surprise, what occurred was the former, as apparently the devil is a speed reader as well. His eyes scanned over each page, but his expression told me he wasn't just skimming. His face changed to show humor, intrigue, and a sinister smile, as if he had caught every little plot point. My goodness, this is splendid. This is what I'm talking about. You, sir, are an artist. Your palette is the words you select for scripting. You are an underappreciated genius, if I do say so myself, and that I do, he remarked, placing the pages back in my hands. Well, thank you, I guess, I said. I knew I should have been ecstatic and joyful here. I mean, he decided not to kill me and take my soul to hell or whatever, but I was wrestling with another emotion here, one I did not truly comprehend at the time: disbelief. I really couldn't believe that he thought that this was good. So when he immediately told me to write another one, I began to panic. If he liked this one so much, how would I top it? Would I be able to truly make it as good? What kind of bar had my... excuse me. What kind of bar had I set for myself? You need to calm yourself. I'm far less critical than you think, and you're far more talented than you think. I can see inside you, so I know it's there. Have faith in me. This part he said with a smile. You have nothing to worry about. Excuse me. You have nothing to worry about. This seemed much easier said than done, especially when said by the devil himself, but I honestly was happy to oblige, for I also found myself a bit humbled and complimented. I mean, a timelessly old being just told me that I was a great author. I nodded in agreement and headed for a second cup of coffee. I said nothing to him because, honestly, if he could read my thoughts, that seemed a bit redundant. I can't be certain, but I'm pretty sure he watched me with intensity and glee as I meandered about the kitchen and back into the living room, headed for the study down the hall. This time, the story came out about... excuse me. This time, the story came out about as fast as I could write it, if not faster. I wasn't sure if it was his influence or just an overabundance of inspiration that I wasn't sure if it was his influence or just an overabundance of inspiration that now sat relaxing in my living room. But the words flowed out through my fingers like a raging torrent of thoughts, solidified into ideas and plot. The characters I developed for this story were intelligent, tenacious, and intrinsically dynamic, which would not only fail to save them from their fates, but it would also play into their downfall. Using the development of the story itself, excuse me, there's animals running through the house. Using the development of the story itself to believably trap these individuals in the most heinous situation, I scripted a design of the macabre and horrifying, the likes I had never created before. I think I spent a page alone explaining the sensation of being skinned alive, having millions of nerves torn from fascia and tissue all at once, lighting up the pain sensors in the brain like a Christmas tree. Lovers saw those they cared for slowly taken apart before their eyes. Children witnessed the pleas from their parents for their offspring's release, memories that would stay with them for the last few moments they would be alive, soon joining their kin in the same gruesome fashion. The being behind these terrible deeds was a monster of my own creation, a being once born as a man, but twisted and reformed under a perfect storm of disastrous events, leaving him a hollow shell of what he once was, always marking his victims in the same way, by eating their eyes while they were still alive. Not only did I absolutely adore how this piece came out, it left me room to write a follow-up story as well. Proud, I gathered the papers in a small stack and left the room once more. Once again, I found him sitting there on the couch of my living room, enjoying a cup of coffee that he had helped himself to. "Ah, I see you've finished another masterpiece," he said, greedily snatching the leaves of paper from my hands. As I watched him pore over the text with a gleeful expression, I couldn't help but take notice of the program that was now being broadcast to the television. The devil was no longer watching Springer. He was watching the news. Now, I'm not sure if he was smiling at what I had written or at the sudden realization that washed over me as I listened to the newscaster. I stood there, stunned and beside myself at first, unbelieving of what was being implied. A family found tortured to death, skinned and mutilated. The police said they'd been looking for the culprit for weeks, as whomever had committed the crime had done so before. They reported they knew this because the circumstances of the scene and deaths were always the same, each victim always missing their eyes. As I looked over at the devil, taking note of the sinister grin once again as he stared up at me, I wondered one last time what he was truly happy about. But it never crossed my mind again. I made my decision right then and there, and I haven't lived a day of regret. Being an unknown, underappreciated author is thankless, but being the engineer of your death is an honor. Besides, I was happy to take him up on his offer. I mean, at least somebody likes my work, and maybe someday you'll get to experience it too. That was designed by the Thankless. Sorry for all the mess-ups in there and the herd of cats doing laps in my house in the background. Do hope you liked that story. That was a little bit to get through. Thank you so much for stopping in, Spooky. Yes, I do know you have your stream at 10. I'll be there late, but I will be there. I'll probably be ending this probably about 10:30, maybe a little bit before. So I'll be a little bit late showing up, but I will certainly be there. Anybody that is leaving to go to that, I completely understand. Anybody that is sticking with me, highly recommend popping over to Spooky Boo's Scary Story Time. Her channel is awesome, and she's going on soon. So, but yeah, very, very happy that I was able to get through this. A little bit longer than what I usually do for a live reading. Whew. But yeah, we did it. We got through. That was not written intentionally as a live reading. That was supposed to be a Saturday upload, but I was starting to run out of stories to read live, so this was the one that got chosen. And considering yesterday was Thanksgiving and this is designed by the Thankless, just kind of felt like it fit. Thank you, ISB and Wrath. And will I ever live stream this, live read it? I don't know if I'll live read it. Depending on how the narration came out, I will be re-uploading it hopefully this coming week with music and sound effects and stuff like that, as long as the narration came out clean enough with these cats running around. Like having little miniature horses in the house. So yes, there will be most likely a repurposed upload of this coming up this week. So yeah, it definitely could happen. So just taking a bit of a breather here. Do have to go through and want to just kind of go through and read some of these comments. But yeah, thanks for just kind of chilling with me while I take a breath. My throat feels kind of a little bit hoarse after that one. Should have grabbed more to drink, I think. Hello, creepy clown girl. Just saw that you stopped in, so very, very happy that you were able to pop in for this one. Hope you're still here, and if if you are, welcome. Happy Friday. Whew. Hello, Devane. Hello to you as well. I'm glad you also stopped in. I did see that you popped in. I just failed to say hello when I was done reading because I'm inconsiderate like that. But hello, how are you? Happy Friday. I do hope what you caught was good. I hope you enjoyed it. Excuse me, a little bit of a voice crack there. And yeah, I'm glad that you were able to make it for at least, some of it. Like I said, I like the way that story came out. I don't know how my live reading of it came out until I go back to listen to it and I can get it edited together and stuff like that. But the story itself, I love how this came out. They don't always come out like this. Like this one I was pretty proud of. So very, very happy that you guys stopped in for this one. Was really, really excited to get this story uploaded. So Confronting Evil is tomorrow. If you guys actually follow my podcast, Sutton Scares, Confronting Evil Season 1, Episode 3, The Devil's Belt, actually went up at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time tonight on my podcast. So if you guys hop over to the podcast, you can actually catch that early. Other than that, it will be premiering here tomorrow at 8 o'clock. It will also be available on my sister channel on Daily Motion, Cleaving Thought from Bone, also 8 o'clock tomorrow as well. So that is one of my favorite stories. This one is series to write for. This story tomorrow's is also written by Doughboy. Yes, I do. It's called Sutton Scares. For the past 8 months or so, I went ahead, I threw it in the description of this video, and I threw it in the description to all recent videos as well. It should be in the description of this. If it's not, I'll add it to it when we're done here. But I'm available on iHeartRadio, Audible, Spreaker, Spotify, Podcast Addict. So yeah, it's available on a whole bunch of different places. I was doing remixed versions of the stories I'd already uploaded here that were written by me. But since YouTube is doing its YouTube thing, I've started uploading to my sister channel on Daily Motion, which looks exactly like this one. It's the same upload schedule, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And the podcast will start featuring the Saturday story a day early. So if you follow the podcast, you can get that Saturday story a day early on the podcast. So just kind of a way to, I guess you could say it's a backup, but it's not. I've almost looked at it now as more building a brand. So that way, even if YouTube takes me down or whatever the case may be, because analytics algorithm, I don't know how you can have horror content that's not sensitive issues. I don't know how you can have horror content that's doesn't promote dishonest behavior. Because those are some of the new monetization settings for YouTube. And it makes me wonder about the future of horror on the platform, because those things are intrinsically horror. I've never seen Michael Myers being a really honest stand-up guy that doesn't promote violence. Jason is very deceptive. He sneaks up on people when they're not looking. He's not standing out on their lawn waving, "Hi, I'm going to kill you." So that's what's led me to go ahead and start just putting it out there. I do have a website now, which will kind of start collecting a little bit of everything. I'll either be embedding videos or at least posting links to the Daily Motions site. So those videos will be available at least through there. It is something that is still under construction. I just created it this week. You can find all my books there and stuff like that as well. There's a link to the store where there's merch available and stuff like that. So it's more or less just building a brand, trying to get myself out there on as many platforms as I can. That way, if something ever happens on one platform, it literally doesn't damage anything. Which does also mean that if I'm promoting stories everywhere, that subscriber counts, views on one platform, none of that really matters because it will be spread over everything. So in a way, it's kind of giving up, hey, I care about YouTubers or subscribers and monetization and views, and more or less puts it into the hand of everybody else and being like, hey, this is really just all for you. And that's the way it should be anyway. So that's the way I want to do it. So yeah, trigger warnings would work, but trigger warnings also flag YouTube that there's something there to be triggered. I had a video taken down last week. It's called Be My Valentine. Now, let me explain to you this story. It's a story about this guy and this girl always has a hard time at Valentine's Day. She always has like emotional breakdowns, and she does what her doctor told her to do, and they go for this drive back to where it all happened. And they walk this trail, and she both remember that the day that she was attacked. And that's literally how it's worded, attacked. So you can fill in that blank however you want, in my opinion. The day she was attacked. And then the end of the story is plastic surgery is cheaper than most would think. Name change is really easy. And I don't understand how she could be so upset with somebody that she unknowingly married. So if you read between the lines there, it's a pretty twisted thing. But now keep in mind this whole that's all that's said in the story. There's nothing more in the story than that. There's no nudity in the video. There's no talk of anything explicit. And if there's anything explicit at all, you got to fill in those blanks. And the video got removed by YouTube, not anybody else reporting it. It was YouTube. We have found that this breaks our community guidelines for nudity and sexual content. It's literally one of the most tame stories that I have. So that got taken down for that reason. What does that really say about the rest of not just my channel, but everybody else's that's out there? I mean, that literally is like anything that could be offensive to anyone cannot be on the platform. YouTube is becoming very business. It's becoming more for corporations and celebrities. It's not about the smaller YouTubers anymore. That's why you don't really see them recommended as much anymore. It's all bigger companies and corporations, people that buy views and stuff. YouTube needs a competition. It needs a corporation that's competition. And Dailymotion, no, it's not as big as YouTube. It's not even close to competition, but it's the closest thing that there is. So definitely going to be supporting Dailymotion. So you'll find me on both platforms. And I truly feel that horror content, not just me, but horror content is going the way of the dodo on YouTube. It's just not going to be a thing that's possible here anymore. You're only going to be able to get what's been filtered through by certain organizations and certain groups and certain kinds of activists, and it's only stuff that's going to be allowed on the channel anymore, and it's not going to be horror. I mean, once you start taking away all the stuff that's horror, it's not horror anymore. It's something completely different. So follow me other places, follow my podcast, follow my other channel, follow my author page where I sell books, follow me all over the place, my Twitter, my Facebook. All the links are in the description of this video, or if they're not, they will be in the description of tomorrow's video and in the description of yesterday's video. So, I mean, just search any of my recent videos on my channel. You will find links to me all over social media and all my other platforms where I post my stories too. It was a story called Be My Valentine that got taken down, which is, again, it's fine. But again, that's a story that was up for 2.5 years. And the warning that I got says that now that I got a warning, and the warning stays there forever. Apparently, it never goes off my YouTube page. So the warning stays there forever. If another video gets taken down, now apparently this one took 2.5 years to get taken down. If another video gets taken down at any point in time, I am not allowed to upload or post or live stream for a week. Now, if 2 videos get taken down at any point in time, my channel's terminated. Done. So, I mean, the writing is on the wall. If I can't put a story up like Be My Valentine, and I did appeal it. I did go to my Gmail and I did appeal it, and I brought it to attention. Just has no nudity, no sexual content whatsoever is in this video. I did not receive any response back whatsoever. So just follow me in other places. You will be able to, like, Be My Valentine. It's up on my podcast, Sutton Scares. So if you do want to listen to that very sexually explicit story, that's just not, it's too controversial and just too in opposition of the community guidelines here for YouTube, then please go listen to him on podcast. Absolutely, go listen to me there. No problem promoting that. And if YouTube's going to start pushing people that way, I got no problem with it, YouTube. So Moff Tarkin, hello, how are you? Happy Friday. So I just want you guys to be aware of that. That's why I put up that urgent video update where I said Sutton Scares will automatically basically turn into Cleaving Thought from Bone, which kind of is. Not the Tuesdays and Thursdays, but the Saturday uploads are going to be going up on Friday. Daily Motion, that is my answer to YouTube. That is my my other sister Mirror channel. And again, lots of other places to find me. So I'm going to keep horror alive. I'm not toning it down. I'm not making horror not horrific for the sake of being on YouTube. I'm going to make horror as horrific as I possibly can, and I'm going to bring back old school horror, whether YouTube wants me to or not. Nobody's going to stop me. It's happening. No, I could join a union. You're absolutely right. We'll see. I mean, again, I'm slowly growing myself. I'm slowly building a brand. I'm starting to see a little bit of a bigger picture here, and taking the long route, but more of a successful one in the end. Sutton Scares. Sutton Scares. Here, let me. I don't think I put it in the live stream because I'm a silly goose. So let me do this. I'm a silly goose.
Sorry.
I'm a silly goose. Let me go ahead and throw my description. Let's copy and paste it into the stream. Give me 1 second. Kind of playing around here in my settings. Did I ever add a description? I did. Here's a better one. There we go. So if you go ahead and you refresh the stream, you'll get all the descriptions in the video now if you refresh it. If not, here is me on Spotify, Sutton's Scares on Spotify. That's the link for that. And here is the Mirror channel for Daily Motion. Thank you, Blades. Blades also, that's me on Spreaker. Sutton's Scare on Spreaker. And yes, and the one I posted right above that is my sister channel on Cleaving Thought from Bone. On Daily Motion, Cleaving Thought from Bone. Excuse me, misspoke. Been doing a lot of talking over the past 50 minutes. So, it has been a good stream. I'm probably going to go ahead and end this in about 5 minutes or so. If you guys do have any more questions for me, please go ahead and ask. And yes, I am going to keep it alive as long as I can. ISB. I want to keep it alive on YouTube. Like I said, I don't think YouTube's going to keep me around too much longer. But that's okay because I'm building elsewhere. And like I said, just follow me any place else and stay up to date with all the good stuff. So, well, thank you. Whew, thank you very much, MNT. I do appreciate you guys stopping in tonight. Like I said, I know it's Friday. You guys are, people, like I said, get very, very busy on Friday, and I completely understand that. And I was just really happy to be able to deliver tonight's story to you. So I'm glad that you guys were here for it, and I'm really happy that you liked it. But yeah, I promised, good horror. If you stick with me on a different platform or whatever, I promise I will keep bringing you unabated, good old-fashioned terror. That's a promise. And yeah, I will look into unions as well. I've never really thought about a narrator's union or an author's union or a YouTube union. I don't know. I'll look into it. But yeah, an author's union would be pretty cool. Yeah, I definitely could use some right defense. Some rights defense. Excuse me. Misspoke a little bit there. And yeah, would certainly be helpful. So, whew. All right. I think I'm about petered out of topics. So I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end the stream. I want to thank you guys one last time so much for being here. It's what makes doing the streams doable. It's not much fun if I'm talking to myself. And really hope you guys stop in for Confronting Evil tomorrow, Season 1, Episode 3, The Devil's Belt, Seth and Mackenzie return. And it's going to be epic. There are some big reveals in tomorrow's story, and we really start getting into the story arc for Season 1. So I really hope to see you guys there. It's an amazing story. I've listened to it 3 times myself already, if that's any indication. Absolutely love you guys. Thank you so much for stopping in for this stream. I'm really, really happy you were here. Have a fantastic night, and I really hope to see you guys tomorrow. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.